For this project, I started with a 38 by 11-inch canvas. It's actually 2 long boards held together by 3 short boards on the back. I picked it up they were asking $3, and I offered them $2 for it. I took it home, I cleaned it up, and I painted it with Wise Owl Chalk Synthesis paint, the color Antique Villa. And this paint actually took 3 good coats to totally cover it. Then I took out a stencil I had purchased on Amazon that said Welcome Spring, and I put that at the very top of the board. Now, I am a terrible stenciler. I had to go back with my black paint and a paintbrush and fix any of the errors I had made. So if anybody has any advice on stenciling, I'm happy to hear it, because mine didn't turn out too great. It looked good after I went over it. Anyway, the next thing I did was I got out my stained glass. Now this stained glass I had previously cut and tumbled in my MJR 40-pound tumbler. Stained glass can be very sharp, and tumbling this even for 24 hours smooths the sides out enough so that they're not sharp and gives it a nice finished look. So I used these pieces of glass for the stems, and I started with the very center of the welcome sign using these stems. The yellow glass that you see me putting at the top is actually tumbled glass. This is glass that I picked up at garage sales or thrift stores, broken up myself, and then tumbled in one of my tumblers. And I get all sorts of colors of glass, and you'll see that I use many of them in this project. So in the very center of the flowers, I decide I'm going to put some pearls. So I decide just to hold everything in place, because the pearls will roll all over the place. I'm going to put some Elmer's glue in the center of each of the flowers before I put the pearls down, just so they don't roll all over, because sometimes the projects take me several days to do, and I have to move the project from one room to the other so the cats don't jump on it, and I just didn't want anything rolling around. Next, I start putting together some of the flowers on the other side with this beautiful red tumbled glass, also glass that I've tumbled myself. And then I use jewelry for the center of the flower. I like to use jewelry in a lot of my projects that I have, and I actually pick up jewelry from garage sales and thrift stores at very inexpensive prices. Next, I'm starting to work with something called VITRIGRAPH glass. It's long strands of glass that I bought on Etsy, and I'm trying to think, it's about $12 for 4 ounces, but you do get quite a bit because it's so thin and lightweight. Now this, if it's real thin, you can actually break it with your hands, and if not, you have to use the nipper tool to break it. And then for the flowers, I'm using the little pieces of blue are actually tumbled glass that I have tumbled in my tumbler, and they're just what I call the crumbs. When you break up glass, it breaks up in all different ways, and this just happened to break up real tiny. And in the center of each of the 4 little pieces of blue glass, I'm putting a pearl to kind of go with the theme of it. The other flowers all have little pearls inside of it. And then next, I'm using this yellow glass. This is also tumbled glass, but this is clear tumbled glass that I've painted with canary yellow Krylon stained glass spray paint. Yellow glass is kind of hard to come by. It looks more like an amber, or it's very, very light. And a lot of the yellow vases in that you find are just sprayed on yellow. So when you break it up and tumble it in the tumbler, the yellow actually comes off. So I wanted a real bright yellow, so I had some of these pieces left over from when I made my sunflowers, which is a video about 5 videos ago if you want to see it. All the petals on the sunflower, I actually shaped a lot of them myself, tumbled them, and then sprayed them with the stained glass spray paint. So anyway, that's what I used for these flowers, and also used a piece of jewelry to put in the center. And for the final grouping of flowers, I also use VITRIGRAPH glass to make the stems. The flowers are made from tumbled glass, little pieces of glass that I call crumbs that are left when you break glass into small pieces and then tumble. And then after I put the little pieces of glass to make a clump for the flower, I put some little tiny pearls in there also. So next I was ready for the resin. Unfortunately, for some reason, I did not video me mixing the resin, but if you look at any of my other videos, you can see how I mix it. For this project, I use the clear cast resin, 1-to-1 ratio resin. When you mix it in the cup, you mix it for 3 minutes, scraping the sides, scraping the bottom. It'll go from clear to cloudy to clear, and then it's ready to pour on the project. When I pour it on the project, I usually put it over the glass first to make sure everything's held in place. And a lot of times I'll use a little toothpick in case the glass moves to try to keep the glass in place. And then I'm using the spoon and my finger to kind of smooth out the glass around the flowers. I do like to put the resin over the flowers, the tumbled glass, because it makes it so shiny and pretty. I just love it. And I also I don't really like the resin to drip down the side so that it leaves those little drips on the back. But I do like it when the sides are covered with a little bit of resin and makes it shiny like the rest of the board. Next, I use my little kitchen torch to get rid of all the little bubbles, and there were quite a few. And it can take up to 5 minutes at times. Sometimes you have to stop, and then it looks like some more bubbles will form again. I don't know where they're coming from, but you might have to go over it a second time. And when you're totally done with everything, it needs to sit in a room undisturbed on a level, flat surface at temperatures between 72 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed the video. So as you see, I finished it with resin, and after I ended the video, I ended up putting some little leaves on the bigger flowers. Something just looked like it was missing to me. But although I did do this with resin, you really didn't have to put resin over this. You could have you saw how I used Elmer's glue on these little flowers. You could have just as easily done it to all of it. That or liquid nails or, any of those types of glues you could have used to hold it down. I do like the shine, and if you like the shine on it, you could have also done a spray sealer after. So maybe I'll try another one like that. And all this is two pieces of board with 3 strips of wood down the back holding it together. So this board here would have been easy to make too, and then just sand it a little and paint it. But if you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see what you guys are making. My email is under my about information on the YouTube channel. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching.